What if I told you there's a reason why you're living the shit life that you don't want to live and why you're not living the life that you dream of every night? There is a secret to the universe used by the most high-level entrepreneurs, societies, athletes, celebrities all around the world to live their dream life and maintain it and live it every day. And you don't know about it. This is the most high leverage fucking valuable video you're ever gonna watch on YouTube, I guarantee that. Write down the notes in this video, write down the actionable steps, take the actionable steps and rewatch the video if needed. Now I'm not gonna edge you in this video, I'm gonna give you the sauce immediately. What is the secret of the universe? The secret of the universe is that it gives you the reality connected by the frequency that you put out in this world. So if you put out the frequency of poverty, you're gonna get the reality of poverty. If you put out the frequency of wealthy, you're gonna get a wealthy life. That's how it works. So please keep in mind that everything in life, in the universe, starts by your frequency. Keep this in mind, keep this mindset in mind. So I'm gonna explain the concepts more easily to you later in the video. Keep this in mind. As you all fucking know, last summer, dead fucking broke, zero money on my bank account, being in debt, and then in a matter of months, scaling to 30K a month with digital products. And this simple shift in my life changed my perspective, my reality to living the life that I dreamed of, and I'm living it every day. So, how does the universe work? In the universe, it wants to balance and magnify everything. It wants balance, predictability, and it wants to magnify everything. It's the most intelligent, efficient, and optimized being ever. So let's say you're living in an emotion of anger constantly. That's your most common emotion. The universe will work to first magnify it by giving you situations, outcomes, environments that's going to magnify that emotion to make you even more angrier. Or if you're living a life of happiness, it's going to give you situations that are going to make you more happy. And then after magnifying your most common emotion, it's gonna maintain it by keeping the balance in the universe. It wants to keep balance at all times. That's why you see people stuck in a shit life, because they don't know these concepts and they will never shift their life to a desired reality because the universe works against them instead of working with them. And to get the frequency of the life that you want to live, everything starts with emotion. So let's say you have the fundamentals. Emotion is at the bottom and it starts a domino effect. Your most common emotion starts a domino effect of tuning your frequency to the reality that you want to live or don't want to live. So emotion starts the domino effect and it tunes your frequency to the reality that you either want to live or not want to live. So everything starts with emotion and then the frequency that you want to live is inceptualized in that moment. So, why are people stuck in a shit life and why are you stuck in a shit life? Because to the universe, you are emitting the frequency of the life that you want to live. If you're living the life of poverty, if you're living the life that you don't want to live, it's because you deserve it, it's because you want it. Now you probably don't understand, you have probably never thought about it this way consciously, but whatever you're living in life, you probably deserve it. If you worked every day for the last 5 years on the right things, having the right mindset, having the right frequency, having the right consciousness, you would live the life that you want to live, right? Everything in life and universe is deserved. Everything. You can't work for 5 years straight with everything in place, your emotions, your mindset, your frequency, and not live the life that you dream of. So, if you're living a shit life, it's because of your fucking frequency. You need to change that, and I'm gonna explain to you how you can do it. So people are stuck in a shit life because they have the frequency of a fucking shit life. So before I give you the actionable steps, I gotta give you some prerequisites, because if I gave you the actionable steps right now, you probably fuck it up. So please understand these concepts beforehand. First concept is that perception is fake. Perception in the Cambridge Dictionary just means that the most common beliefs and opinions of other people about how the world works. So perception by the dictionary is not truths. These are not facts, these are just opinions and beliefs. And everybody in life adopted the perceptions and the beliefs and opinions of the people around them. While you were in childhood, you adopted these perceptions and beliefs and opinions. So be really fucking careful about adopting new perceptions, new beliefs and opinions, especially if they come from the people living the life that you don't want to live. So let's say you have a perception about the world that the rich people are only blessed and evil and nobody can achieve the riches without being blessed. You can never expect to be rich if that's the perception about rich people that you have. That's how powerful this is. That's why beliefs are so powerful, because they can either limit you or push you to greatness. That's why this is so powerful, and I need you to understand that perception can be really fucking dangerous, and perception is fake. Perception is not reality. What you believe and hold these limiting, they are not reality. They are just beliefs and not facts. So the next concept is awareness. In order to tune into the right frequency, and this is the goal of this video, to help you to tune in the right frequency to live your desired life. To tune into the right frequency, you need to be aware. If you're not aware, you can never shift your frequency. And awareness just means that you see yourself in the future, in the desired reality. How would that person or myself in that desired reality react to the situation? How would he feel in this moment right now? What would he do today? You need to become aware. You need to write down the things. How would that person in my desired reality do right now? What would he do? What would he feel like? What would he have accomplished? That's awareness. Next thing is responsibility. As I talked about in my previous videos, if you are not responsible, you can never learn in life. You can never help yourself out in order to get disciplined, achieve self-mastery, shift your frequency to actually live the life that you want to live. So responsibility is key. You all motherfuckers know what responsibility is. You have to be responsible about yourself, about your life. You need to take care of yourself. You need to be responsible and know that everything in life comes from you. Nobody can give it to you. Everything comes from fucking you. And nobody can help you out. Everything is responsibility. Be responsible for the actions, the life, whatever your inputs are right now, be responsible for them. And you are the only person to blame if you're living a shit life and you're not living the life that you dream of. Especially if you're watching this video and have a fucking roof over your head and have internet and food, you need to blame and only blame yourself. Next concept, self-trust. I talked about this in my last video. Self-trust is everything. You cannot expect life or universe or God to give you the life that you want to live if you can't even trust yourself. You have to have immense 100% confidence and trust in you in order to shift your frequency, do the right actions, do the inputs, do everything correctly. You need to have self-trust. If you want to understand this concept further in more detail, watch my last video. Next is sacrifice. You cannot expect to get anything in life without giving something up. That's how money works. In order to get the value or the service from someone else, you need to give them something. In that case, it's money. That's a sacrifice. In life, you have to sacrifice things in order to get new things, in order to get better things. You constantly need to sacrifice. And in this case, I want you to sacrifice your old frequency. Now, your old frequency is like a horse carriage. It has this big carriage on the back that's carrying your supplies. And in this case, the horse carriage is your frequency, and your frequency brings all of your inputs, all of your bad habits, everything that you do in your life is connected to your frequency. And when you ditch your old frequency, that means ditching your old habits, ditching bad people from your life, ditching everything that is not aligned to your desired reality. That's what sacrifice means. It's not this mindset concept, it's actually physical. You need to sacrifice things in your life. You need to sacrifice the bad habits, the bad people, the bad inputs. Whatever you're doing that's not aligned to your desired frequency and reality, you have to sacrifice it. So, self-worth, this is the next concept. If you want to live the life that you want to live, you need to think of yourself as deserving, as knowing, as the most capable person of achieving that desired life. If you think to yourself that you don't deserve to have money, that you don't deserve to have a nice car, that you don't deserve to have love in your life, you're never gonna have it. Because universe works in a way that it's not gonna give you and materialize things in the physical reality that you yourself don't think you deserve. And self-worth comes from two different things. It comes from external validation, or it can come from yourself within. So if it comes from external validation, that's when you buy a nice car, buy some luxury item, flex it on Instagram, and people like your shit and respond to your stories and tell you all the good shit. That's external validation, raising your self-worth. But you can raise your self-worth internally by focusing on your wins, by focusing on the positive things that you've done in your life. That's how you raise your self-worth. If your self-worth is only dictated by the external, it's fluctuating. If you do some bad shit in your life and you make a mistake and you let other people dictate what your self-worth is according to that mistake you made, it's gonna destroy your fucking life. That's why you see people that make mistakes in the public, celebrities, they attach their self-worth to the opinions and to the validation or not validation of the other people, and that's when they destroy their life. You need to tie your self-worth to your own internal self and use the external validation as just a boosting thing, as just a thing that is just a bonus. But your main self-worth needs to be connected to your internal self, to your wins that you made in your life, that you focus on, not the losses, not the bad things. You need to focus on the right things, on the positive things that you've done in your life. That's why when you tie self-worth to the right things, you cannot tie your self-worth only to the validation of other people. Because in that case, your self-worth will constantly be fluctuating, and you cannot let that happen. Because that's the point in life. When you give so much power to other people, they can actually control your life. So let's say you have a lot of money and your self-worth is connected to the validation of other people, and you make a mistake, you make a bad decision, and you let other people tell you, oh, you're such a bad person, you did this such a bad thing, and you let your life be controlled by those people, you will eventually probably think you don't deserve that life. You maybe become depressed. That's because you're tied your self-worth to the opinions of other people. You cannot let that happen. Only tie your self-worth to your internal state and your internal wins that you achieved in your life. So, next fucking step. In the universe, you have 3 planes of existence. And in order to achieve the reality that you want to live, you need to align yourself, your being, with those 3 planes of existence. The first plane of existence is the mental plane of existence. The mental plane of existence is whatever your mindset is, whatever you're feeling, whatever your beliefs, opinions, perception of the reality is. You need to align your mental plane of existence with the desired reality that you want to live. So how would the person in your desired reality think about this X situation or feel about this X situation? How would he feel about in the morning when he wakes up and he has a bunch of money in his fucking bank? How would he feel? That's the mental. Now the spiritual. Most people make a mistake, especially only religious people, that tie their desired reality only to what God can give them. So they are not doing anything fucking different in their life, but they are only praying to God to give them the reality that they want to live. And this is bad because you haven't put in the actions, you're just praying, and you can never get something in life without putting something in, without sacrificing something. So you need to align your spiritual, mental, and physical, which I'm going to talk about. When you align your spiritual, that's when you're most connected with God. That's when you talk to God. Be grateful for the things that He gave you. Be grateful for the reality you're going to live. Be grateful for the things you have right now. You need to be connected with God. That's why I say religion and finding God is the most important fundamental step to achieving success in life. So you need to align your mental and spiritual. And then you need to align the physical. So if you have your mindset correct, if you have your connection to God, now you need to put in the work. And you need to put in the right work. You cannot put in shit work. You cannot focus on the bad things even though you know you're focusing on a bad business model or a bad niche. You're just doing it to feel like fucking productive. But that's not gonna give you the reality that you wanna live. You need to align your physical, you need to do the work. You cannot escape work. Don't think that in reality you can just manifest shit like these fucking women that think they can just manifest things from the fucking sky and not do anything to achieve the life that they wanna live. So, align the mental, spiritual, and physical. And you can think of it like this in your mind. You need to align your mindset, your connection to God, and the actions or the work that you put in. And now you need to understand that you're gonna be an outsider. In life, especially in today's society, living the dream life that you probably wanna live, it's probably an anomaly to 90% of people around you. So the life that I'm living right now is a 19-year-old high school kid that hasn't signed up for college or university, that's making more money than all of my family, all of the people I know. I'm making more money than them from my fucking room in my house and traveling the world, having nice things in my life, feeling good. That's an anomaly because I'm not living the life that most expected. Most expected that I'm gonna finish high school, sign up for a university, I don't know, do shit work for the rest of my life, go into debt and shit. That's the most common outcome of most people. And when you step aside from the most common outcome or the life that most people live, you're an anomaly. People think of you as an outsider. Now this can be positive because you're gonna have a lot of people looking up to you, but you can also have the negatives where you have like family members, friends that are not your friends, thinking of you as this like fucking weirdo guy that's not living the life that most people live. So expect to be an outsider. When you do the actionable steps, when you put in the work, when you do the things I'm gonna explain to you, and you achieve the life that you wanna live, you're gonna be an outsider. So be prepared for it. And even before you get your desired reality, you're gonna be an anomaly. So let's say you're going to school. If you wanna live the life of riches, if you wanna have a successful business, if you wanna have money in your bank, you're gonna have to working constantly. So I had periods where I went to school with my fucking laptop, no books, no nothing, and just worked in my classes. That's an anomaly. That's not what most people are doing. So even before you live your desired life, you're gonna be an anomaly. So be prepared for that and don't be scared of it because you're here for a real reason. That's 50 Cent's quote. So the universe also doesn't give a fuck if you're nice or good. This is a reality check that most people need. You cannot get good things in life just by being good, just by being a nice guy. You cannot get things in life like that because the universe doesn't care for morality, doesn't care for evil or bad. It just wants to balance things and magnify things. It doesn't give a fuck if you're good or nice or bad or evil. It's gonna give you the reality that you put out by your frequency. The rain doesn't fucking only rain on bad people. It will rain on the kid walking down the street. The rain doesn't give a fuck. It's just raining. It doesn't care who walks on the street and who is gonna get water on his head by the rain. It doesn't give a fuck. That's how rain works. That's how the universe works. If a tornado is coming through the city, it's not gonna fucking avoid a kid on the street. It's gonna go right through him because the tornado doesn't give a fuck. It's just a being that has one goal in mind, it's just working. The universe has a specific set of rules it's working by and doesn't give a fuck about morality, good or bad. So keep this in mind. Don't think that only by being nice you're gonna get the life that you want to live. If you're just going through life giving, I don't know, fucking your spare change to homeless people on the street, that's not gonna give you the life that you want. Of course that's good, but it's not gonna give you the life that you want. So don't just focus on being a nice guy, being a good guy, being a positive guy. You have to align some other things in your life as well. So keep this in mind. Now, I want to talk about compounding effect, and I'm probably gonna make a video on this specifically. When in the universe, if you put out a certain frequency, over a long period of time, if you're living a shit life for 10 years, that frequency that you put out to live that life, is so fucking strong because it compounded. When you go on a mountain, you can set off a snowball down the fucking mountain, and eventually it's gonna pick up momentum, pick up more snow, and eventually it can turn into a fucking avalanche. That's how compounding works. That's how momentum works. So you're gonna have periods in your life where you shifted to the right frequency or the right life that you wanna live, but you're gonna have periods where you fall back and slip back into your old one. That's just because you haven't achieved enough momentum, enough compounding to live the life that you want to live. So keep pushing through the hard times. Compounding effect is very real. If you work on the right things for 5 years, eventually you're gonna get exponential results. That's how compounding effect works. So the first actionable step I'm gonna give you in this video is to set the right frequency. Now, everything in life comes from emotion, especially frequency. Everything begins with emotion. Emotion starts the domino effect that's gonna play out in your life. So, think about it like this. Take out a piece of paper, take out your notes, and write down. Let's say your name is Joe. What would Joe, in my dream life, think of right now, feel right now, do right now? What would he act like? How would he walk down the street? How would he talk to people? What would he do? Write it down in autistic, retarded level details. And then you need to shift to that frequency. You have to understand that in order to get the dream life that you want to live, you will 100% have a period of your life where you're tuned into the right frequency, you feel happy, you feel the way that your desired reality person would feel like, but you're not getting the physical reality of it. You're not getting the material things that you want from your dream life. So let's say you want to get rich, you want to, build a good body, and your dream life is having a good body and traveling the world, being rich. How would the person that has built a dream body and has a lot of money in the bank feel like? He'll probably feel confident, he'll probably speak with more conviction, he'll probably give out money to some people, he would help out his friends. You have to internally tune into the state of being, which is your person in your desired life. And the thing about manifesting and shit that all these women talk about is that you can manifest in an instant. You don't have to wait. A manifesting is just a fucking decision. It's a decision between you feeling like your old frequency or your shit life, or feeling like the person in your dream life in the right frequency. That's just what manifesting is. And the universe doesn't really know about the physical reality, the physical things. The universe doesn't know about the fucking BMWs and Louis Vuittons. It doesn't know about that. It just knows about the frequency that you're putting out. So you can shift your mindset and manifest the things, the life, the emotions that you want to feel in your dream life instantly. If your dream life is to be rich, you can immediately shift your mind to feel confident like that rich guy. Shift the mindset to feel happy in the morning, like that rich guy would feel when he wakes up and looks at his bank and it's full of fucking money. You can shift it instantly. So please do that. That's the setting the right frequency. So the next fucking step is to follow the main sequence. Now the main sequence works like this. First of all, you're gonna have emotions, which dictate your frequency, which dictate your intuition. That's when you feel what you're gonna do right now, what actions are you gonna take. That's intuition. Then you have the mental nudges. Then you take the actions, the inputs, the work you put in, and then you get the desired reality. So please take a mental image of this process and keep it in mind. So you need to follow that. So the third fucking step is to master oneself. Before you achieve your dream life, you have to master yourself. You have to master being disciplined, having trust, believing, having capabilities, having the feeling that you know you're gonna live your dream life. You need to master yourself. You cannot expect God or the universe to give you the life that you want to live, to give you the riches, the wealthiness, the people, the women, the love, if you cannot control yourself. If you can't control going on Instagram Reels and spending 2.5 hours of your day spending on Instagram Reels, how do you expect God to give you millions of dollars to spend every day? How do you expect that? That cannot happen. You need to master yourself first, before you master your reality. Keep that in mind. The next fucking step, you need to control attention and concentration. Now, I talked about this concept in my second or third video. You need to master having the focus, the concentration, and attention on the right things. If in life you only focus on losing, and the universe has this law of magnifying and maintaining that I spoke about at the beginning of the video, if you only focus on losing, the universe is gonna give you situations where you lose even more. That's when you hear people that want to get rich and want to start a business, and the first thing that they tell you, oh, I'm scared I'm gonna fail. If even before you begin doing something, some new endeavor, you think about losing that endeavor, you're gonna eventually lose. That's how it fucking works. You have to constantly be focused on the wins, the positive outcomes, the right things. You cannot be focused on the losses. You cannot be focused on losing before you even start, before you even begin, before you even try. Don't let that happen to you. Control your attention and concentration and focus on the right things, on the life that you want to live. And be very, very careful of people stealing your concentration and focus and energy into their life. Be very careful of that, because you need to protect this energy at all costs. You need to protect your focus. You need to protect your mind of not being distracted, of not being focused on the bad things. Stop fucking watching short form videos. Stop fucking watching TikTok. Your brain is getting destroyed by watching that shit. Your brain is getting focused and concentrated on the psyops of the society, on the bad things, on the bad news. You're probably like thinking about fucking Israel and Iran right now, and you don't even have $100 in your bank account. Why would you be fucking focused on World War III if you don't even have money to escape your country if that even happens? So please be very, very careful of protecting your energy. Be very careful. So the fifth step is to change your beliefs. Now, all of your beliefs either come from experience or adoption. When beliefs come from experience, that's when you go through life and you experience something bad. Let's say you go down the street in America and you see a black guy and he robs you. From that point on, you're probably gonna have belief that all black people are robbers and criminals. That's when beliefs come from experience. But when beliefs come from adoption, that's when you hear about these things happening to other people. You hear a family talking shit about some people, of something in their life, and you adopt the beliefs of the people that you most trust. You adopt the beliefs of the many. And when I talked about being an outsider, your brain is primal. Your brain works in a primal state constantly. Because in the primal ages, people are sticking to groups. People were sticking to groups because that's when they had the most chances of survival in any outcome, in any situation in their life. They stick to groups. And your brain works that way even to this day. It hasn't changed. So, when you tell your brain, I'm not gonna believe the things that most people believe, and I'm gonna do the things that most people do, your brain is gonna get into this fight or flight situation and spike your emotions to stop you from doing that, because your brain recognizes that as being an outsider, being a lone wolf. And when you're an outsider, when you're alone in the primal ages, you're probably gonna die because you don't have the capabilities that people in groups have. So that's when your brain starts giving you this bullshit, giving you the excuses, giving you the emotions that stop you from doing the work that most people don't want to do. And that's when people get stuck in shit lives, because they are let their brain control themselves. So the final thing I want to say is how to not fall back to your shit life. Now you're gonna have situations in your life where you're living your dream life, you're in the right frequency, but then the things happen that pull you back to the old habits. So frequency works like this. It waits for you to become the person that you want to be, to live the life that you dream of, and waits for you to forget about where you came from, forget about which habits you had to overcome to get to that situation, forget about your wins. It waits for you to be the most vulnerable, and that's when it strikes. Your frequency's main goal is to maintain its life, its energy, and it wants to survive. It doesn't want to die. So constantly throughout your life, you're gonna have your old frequency dimly lit inside of your body, trying to gain energy, trying to live as much as possible. And you have to be careful of not letting it live and not letting it dictate your reality. So when you live your dream life and you're not aware that you have achieved all of these big things, all of these wins, you're not grateful enough. You don't reminisce back in the past and where you came from. That's when your old frequency attacks you and pushes your buttons exactly, gives you the excuses, gives you the mindset to let you fall back to the bad habits. So be very, very careful of that. That happened to me. Like I'm living my dream life right now. I'm traveling, having a lot of money, working online, not having to go to university. I'm living the life that I want to live. But I had moments and periods where I didn't feel grateful as much as I wanted to for the contrast that I've experienced in my life. So I have the contrast of being in debt, no money, to having all of these luxury, expensive things, having these experiences, traveling, making money, having money, helping my family. That's a big contrast. And I have periods of my life where I forget about that. I forget about being grateful. And that's when your old frequency will attack you to make you fall back to the bad habits. So keep this in mind. And the last fucking step, follow me on Instagram. I share my life, I share my stories, and I hope we can connect, maybe share some business value, and of course, give me some recommendations what I can make a video next on. I'm probably not gonna listen to it, but like you can give me recommendations. And I really, really hope that this video was valuable to you, and I hope that you come back to this video every few months, look back on it, take new notes, and implement the steps that I gave you to live the life that you want to live. That's it. Have a nice day.